Okay. Yeah, it's not really a decision, you know. You probably can decide to do that in a professional way. But anyway, as you know, I'm even a civil engineer, and you know, you don't really distinguish, you know, between, you know, the two features. For me, it's exactly the same path. Um, yeah, in this sense, when you decide to, you know, for instance, to study civil engineer, or you decide to study even architecture or Academy of Art, you do that, you know, because of your passion. So in this sense, I'm continuously doing my passion, and yeah, you know, so that's it. I do sculptures, I do paintings. Yeah, I do art at 360 degrees.
Well, is it mean like you are doing it every day, every minute in a day, like all the time?
Yeah, you don't decide exactly when you have to produce, when you want to do, you know, something else. It's something that, you know, happens. The real difficult thing is to catch, you know, the inspiration when it comes. Fortunately, in my case, there is, you know, there is no lack of inspiration. So anyway, yeah, it's perfect.
But you know, there was a very famous saying that it goes like inspiration never comes out of nowhere. You have to like work for it. You have to constantly be working, so there like an inspiration appears.
Yeah, in my specific case, I have to focus my attention just on the inspirations that are really important, because for all of us, but I probably think even for you, you know, inspirations, you know, they are continuously, you know, coming from outside. It depends just on how you live your life. You know, if you live 100%, you know, focus on your inspirations, everything, you know, seems to be important. Many people, they usually don't do that. So this is just, you know, the difference probably between, you know, being an artist and, you know, the other jobs, in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe like artists, they receive what's going, like surrounding us in a more, like, how to say, they are more attentive to the details somehow.
Yeah, something like that. But you know what? I probably think that all of us could be artists, especially if we are able, you know, to catch and to fix emotions when they're coming. This is the most difficult thing. You know, people, they don't do that. You know,
We don't catch our emotions.
No, they just leave. They don't feel. This is the, you know, the difference.
Do you think, or do you connect or see any relationship of architecture and painting in your own practice?
Yeah, okay, let's say that. According to me, in a broad sense, okay, so not for all of us, but I probably think that architecture, for me, is the best compromise between art and engineer. In this sense, engineering, okay, is filtering, you know, in a way, the way in which I paint. So what does filtering mean? When I do a bidimensional painting, okay, sometimes, not always, but sometimes I discover that, you know, my engineering background is coming out. When this fact happens, this is my specific, you know, situation. I don't know for the others what happens, but in my case, my artistic path in this situation is tending to cubism. So according to me, the best solution for this, you know, merging between art and engineering is the cubism. When I design sculpture or monumental sculpture or artistic building, it's totally another, you know, situation. So in this case, civil engineering and engineering in general is not a filter, it's a need. Because when you design something which is three-dimensional, anyway, you want to astonish for sure, but you want to, it to stand out, but you want even to stand up. So you have to focus on that. So that's why.
Art and architecture, they're not necessarily like the same or maybe this organic thing, but they have definitely interlinked, I think, relationship. Like they influence each other, but they separate from some points from each other as well, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's say that they are separate. This is, my opinion. In the 90% of cases right now in the modern, age, just probably because of the budget of the projects. So if an architect can be free 100%, to project, just focusing on his or her emotions, they probably would project something else. So this is the first, the first topic. But at the end of the day, according to me, art is the best boosting, argument for architecture. So in this sense, when you put together art and architecture, and you merge, one each other in the same project, probably this is the best solution, especially for the modern age. Because I don't know, absolutely, if you remember in the past, we have so many masters, of architecture, and there were even artists, but there were even engineering. So they were all together, Right now in the modern age, the society teach us, to distinguish them.
Yeah, to specialize in.
Exactly. That's why, according to me, when you're looking at, buildings that have been projected in the last 100 years, something like that. Anyway, you don't see so many pieces of art, except some, specific examples. But anyway, except them, the other one, they are, quite about all the same in the 90% of the case. Right now, we are tending again to a golden age of architecture. But anyway, this is not for me tending to the future. It's something which is tending to the past. So we are coming back, okay, so with a different technique, because we have right now a different method. We have softwares, let's imagine, for instance, to the parametrics, architecture. But it's just a different way of thinking, the reality. But architects, they are coming back to the past in this sense. This is my opinion. They are opening again to art. So art is not considered something which is, not useful, but it's, the adding value to the project.
Yeah, I want to ask you that. I know that you are taking part or in a collaboration with some architects in artistic projects.
Yep.
Yeah. So, if it's okay, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Anyway, most of them, they are confidential. But as I told you, the main idea is that art, wants to boost the architectonical project. So this is the main topic. In this sense, art is right now, according to me, the missing part of the project. When the architect is going to design, there are many architects who are open to art. They probably have just to to put in the right path. Nothing else. But we have so many examples about that. Consider, for instance, in Nice, Côte d'Azur, it's a building called La Tête Carrée. It's a mix between, a sculpture and a building. and it has been designed by 2 architects and 1 sculptor all together.
Yeah.
Or anyway, you can find even the Golden Bridge in Vietnam. It's another example, a good example.
Yeah.
In that case, it was not just a structure or a bridge. It probably has begun the new icon for the country. This is the purpose why usually artists and architects they cooperate, they collaborate on each other. When you want to design when you want to create something which is iconic, this is exactly the best situation.
So I was wondering, what do you think about how this COVID-19 situation will influence the arts markets and the the practices and habits of art audience?
Okay.
Because actually lots of museums are starting to open, especially I think across Germany. And some other European countries as well, but I think people are going to come to the museums, or is it going to be like this digital world from now on?
Yeah, okay. I probably think that in this case we have to distinguish, a couple of situations. By artist side and by, institution side. For artists, I think I'm not the only one who is thinking that, you can have a lockdown period even during, a normal situation without any COVID. It's something which is, inside you. I probably think that I'm not the only one who is thinking that. I probably think that there are, even other artists that they are thinking that. For institutions, it's different because, they have to adapt themselves to the situation. And of course, especially museums, art galleries, art fairs. I'm not sure, but I probably think that this situation is forcing institutions to change their point of view in front of art. Art for them and for all of us in general is something which is, just for a few people, not for everyone. In this sense, this situation is forcing institutions to, to try to spread their art in a different way. And in this sense, culture can be for everyone. Google started, years ago with the project of Google Arts and Culture, but right now even, many museums, they are doing online exhibitions. I'm gonna do that one online exhibition in the next 10 days. So it will have in the next 10 days. But anyway,
that's great.
Yeah, exactly. It's I love the idea that people in a comfy way, sitting on their sofa inside their houses, they can absolutely appreciate art all around the world. So we want all of us. Want that COVID, is running away, but this situation is forcing, institutions to adapt their, way of spreading their messages.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, because I also think that this digital era in, watching art is also democratizing art, because as you
Absolutely.
said, unfortunately, art may not be for everyone in these times, because
it's not. It's not.
It's not, because for getting a museum you have to pay, like, I don't know, 20 euros or $20.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and so you have to be privileged in some senses, and this is maybe a way to be like a revolution. Who knows?
Yeah. Yes, of course it is. According to me, it is.
In one of your interviews in the past, you are defining art as, I like quotes, I like to think of art like that moment in which the artist communicates with his canvas using the technique of an adult and the imagination of a child. This is pretty nice. So when you are in your process of making art, can you is it possible for you to share, like, how do you feel, and can you just please explain more this sentence of yours?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I'm gonna try to explain you by an example. Okay, so it's much more better to understand when an external event or even an inside feeling is coming. I try to catch it, and after that there is quite about a process of abstraction. So the inspiration tend to maturity. It's not something which is immediate. It takes a bit of time before happenings, and as I like to say, in this sense, I'm waiting for the inspiration is coming round. When it's round, so when it's when it's ready, okay. In this sense, a bit of time passed before the first raw inspiration. The ability of an artist as an adult, as a man, is to fixing that on the canvas with the technique absolutely of an adult, but the sensation, the emotion, the feelings, according to me, they have to be always like when you was a child. So in this sense, the combination between the two approach, it's the best one.
Okay.
As I usually say, I'm a worker of emotions. The worker part is typically of an adult, but the emotional side is typical of the children.
Yeah, I think this is very interesting because, and I also see in the comments that it's like, it's very pure coming from, like expressing your inner child maybe to the canvas. I don't know. It's really nice.
It's that exactly.
Yeah.
And when you are an artist, you have, according to me, if you want to create real masterpieces, you have to do that, because unless you tend to design. If you think about, marketing, if you think about something else, this is, according to me, the most important, difference between art and design. If you want to create art with capital A, you have to, don't think about what, people want. You have just to think about, you have to be selfish in this sense when you produce artwork. So you have to just think about what you have inside, and you have to approach to the external reality, with the eye of a child.
Yeah, it feels very meditative and therapeutic in a sense. I think today it's very common that people now go to art therapies, like they paint and then they do sculpture to express perhaps their anger, their emotions that they repressed, perhaps. So it's very nice. And I want to ask you, was it something, like art practice, is it something coming from your childhood, or you started from your childhood?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Your parents, they were...
No. None of them, no. My grandfather was a violinist, but anyway, no one of them was a painter or a sculptor. But anyway, when you are young, people they think, oh, he's losing his time, but at the end of the day, it's not true.
Yeah, it feels like that sometimes. It feels like time is flying, and it feels like you are doing nothing, but maybe it's not. Yeah, but actually today...
Don't take care about the glass. It's just water, right? Even it's...
okay. No, that will be fine.
Okay.
Enjoy, please.
Yes, please.
So, okay. I want to ask one more question.
Yeah.
I think, okay. So you are a civil engineer at the same time, and you are running a company, which you own, I guess.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was wondering, while you do your paintings and sculpture practices,
Mm-hmm.
is it any moment that your engineering wits and your know-how, is it somehow transmit to the to your artistic process, or you just don't
In
feel?
as I told you at the beginning, in this specific moment of my life, the path is just one. It's unique. So I cannot
Mm.
distinguish so much, right now, the civil engineer, practice since the artistic one. It's
Maybe it's
exactly the
just a
same.
flow.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because you know what? If I want to do a painting, I probably don't need any engineeristic, background. Or when you
Mm.
want to do, a sculpture, it's absolutely an adding value, definitely.
Yeah,
Because
because you're.
absolutely, you have to exactly know, which is the real bones of the sculpture. And yeah, in this sense is that's why I cannot distinguish anymore, the two lives in this sense.
Yeah. And how does it feel to, because since you own a company and
Hmm.
you are dealing with clients and
Hmm.
you are a professional in a sense,
Yeah.
but when you are doing your painting in your own time, or maybe like how do you do it? I don't know, but you feel like independent, maybe more free in a sense. And for young architects,
Hmm.
watching us at the moment,
Hmm.
would you suggest them like anything about if they are feeling pressure about their design to just apply to certain circumstances and rules, or young artists, would you give them any advice who are still maybe at school and starting their practice just now? What would you say to them?
Okay, according to me, the best suggestion is, to follow their passions. If they think that their passion is so strong, is strong enough, to make it a job, a real job, continue to do that. So don't
Mm.
stop, This is my suggestion. It seems is, something usual to say, but it's the only truth.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's if you're passionate, you say it's just gonna make you happy,
Yeah,
gonna make
exactly.
you perhaps rich, and
No, but you know why? Because you are thinking about the career part.
hmm,
The career part is coming after, before
hmm.
you have to just focus on your passion, nothing else. If you start to do art for your career, according to me, is not the best solution. It's better
If
that
you
you
do
change.
art for
It's better
ah,
if you decided to do art for your artistic career. It's better that you choose another another path. It's better that
hmm,
you do, for instance, the business consulting or something like that. But if you choose to start, art just because of your passion, you can do that.
yeah, okay, I see.
Results will come for sure.
And also I want to ask another question.
Mm-hmm.
So, we talk about the sculpture, like monumental and sculpture,
Yep.
like huge, huge buildings, which are
Mm-hmm.
extremely famous worldwide.
Yep.
Um, and there are lots of opinions about
Mm-hmm.
such buildings,
Mm-hmm.
contradictory opinions. I was wondering if that's all right, your opinion about these kind of buildings. Do you think that sometimes their form going too much beyond to the function part? Like for example, when you look top, you see one of the seams are
Yeah. Yes, of course.
looking weird, and
Understand your question. I'm gonna answer you very easily. Close your eyes. Think about France. Which is the first building that you think about France? Do you think that building is something usual or not? According to me, it's unique. According to me, no one has ever designed something like that. But anyway, it's the symbol of a country and not of
yeah,
the last country. So as I told you, it depends just on what we are focusing on.
mm,
In this specific case, La Tour Eiffel, it's something which is in our mind, you know, since many years. So, you know, we know that it's over there. We know that, you know, it has been done. I would love that, you know, the world would be full of many Tour Eiffel, if it's possible, you know, something that distinguish each country. Absolutely, it's better when, you know, the artistic building, it's integrated in the master plan. Yeah, and in this sense, I definitely love, but a building which stand out is not something, according to me, which is strange. You know, if you can give it the right adding value, it's the best thing.
Yeah. And they also, as you said, they are creating this cultural, iconic, and symbolic, you know, landmarks for every country. And
exactly.
Also, it's nice that architecture is doing that. You know,
it's it's a cultural question. You know, people usually become proud to be part of a country when you have an iconic building.
Yeah.
You know, so if you are proud to be, you know, in your country because of your building, of your iconic building, I definitely think that the artist and the architect, they reach the target.
They reach the target, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we are having some questions.
Yes, please. I'm not reading them. I'm not reading them, so sorry.
Sorry?
I'm not reading the questions, so please feel free to read them if you want it.
There is one question. Yeah, okay. How should the artworks in the interior architecture profession be exhibited in the fields of arts in order to create a social perception?
The social perception, you're gonna create it, according to me, when you are able to produce something which is not, you know, beautiful just to hang on the wall. When you produce something which is going to, you know, to create the socializing part of, you know, of people. Right now, it's, you know, it's not easy to find an example with a canvas, but artistic buildings, in this sense, they are absolutely the best, you know, solution. If you're able to design an artistic building in this sense, the building, which is even mentioned as a piece of art, and of course, which is even, you know, livable, it's absolutely the best way to, you know, to keep vivid the socializing people.
Yeah, I know, because I don't like that how people buy art just to decorate their apartments, because I mean, art doesn't have to convey any message or something, but like still it feels maybe weird. But yeah, I think your answer just was enough for the question, I guess. And also I was thinking about one of the things that I read recently. It's like how how architecture may be a way of democracy, in a sense that if people cannot go to museums and see artwork, like an architectural piece is public, so like everyone can see it, everyone can watch it.
It's definitely better, definitely, because, you know, yeah, people, they can watch it, but they can even enter in if it's possible, you know.
Yeah.
So in this sense, you know, the monumental sculpture is, you know, definitely the most democracy art, you know, that exists.
Yeah, in the library example in Nice, right, in France, you mentioned.
Yeah.
By Sacha, yeah.
Tête Carrée.
Yeah, Tête Carrée. It's a library, right?
Yeah, it's the base of not really a library. You cannot enter over there and you know, and buy books, but it's the headquarter of the municipality library, something like that.
You can't borrow books, but you can still sit inside and study.
Their offices right now in this specific moment. Yeah, their offices. Yeah. So you can
So
leave it, you can feel it from outside. It's not open to the public or anyway. I don't think it is.
okay. Because I've never been there. I was just like, I know it
Mhm.
from internet and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was like a library. Thanks for that.
Yeah, yes,
So
please, no problem.
one of our audience like to see your artworks. Is
Yeah.
it possible if you could give us a tour?
A tour here.
Yeah, maybe a short tour, if it's
Yeah,
okay.
anyway. Yeah, but no, anyway, here you can see something. Yeah, you know what? Because I think that if I'm moving here, I probably lost the connection.
Ah, okay. So okay then. Okay.
That's because I fixed the cable, you know, nothing else.
Okay. You are with the phone internet, not with the Wi-Fi.
Exactly, exactly. But I have, you know, even the recharger, you know.
Hmm. And also one of our audience asked a question.
Mm-hmm.
I think we already discussed this, but I want to ask you.
Yep.
Um, what is the difference between art and architecture? Can we say architecture is art?
Definitely, it should be. It should be. According to me, the best
Okay.
architecture, yeah, definitely yes. It's when you are projecting an unique piece of architecture, according to me, you are producing a piece of art with very strict contour conditions. So if you are able to produce a very, you know, unique piece of art with, you know, strong contour conditions, you know, this is, you know, it's an architecture masterpiece in the sense.
Since it is unique and no, because the time element perhaps because it will last very long, just like perhaps a building or a
Yeah,
structure.
for timings, but even for the other, you know, contour conditions. For instance, if you are designing an hotel and you want to, you know, to project a piece of art, of course, if you, you know, if you go out from the usual scheme, you know, and you think with free mind, but you have the, you know, the contour conditions of the commitment, you are probably, you know, ready to project a real, you know, iconic building. It depends on, you know, which is the, you know, the final result that you are tending to.
And also another question from our audience is,
Yeah.
how do the art and the architecture match the design with the sustainability? Match the design
Yeah,
with sustainability.
for art is different. I mean, if you're not designing an artistic building and you are producing, I don't know, a sculpture in bronze or something like that, you are not very careful about the sustainability. You are careful about the final result. You
And the
know,
final
especially
results being
if you are, you know, sketching a canvas with oil on canvas, for instance, or a tapestry oil on canvas. Yeah, for instance, this one, okay, behind me, it's called the Embrace. It's made spatula oil on canvas. It's, I don't remember, 3 meters per 2, something like that. But when you're doing that, anyway, I tell you the truth, I don't really think about the sustainability. Because in the but it's a good question, but in this sense, you know, oil is oil, okay, and medium is medium. In architecture it is different. You know, you think much more probably about, you know, your the green part of the production. When you're doing a piece of art, you know, you're probably not thinking specifically that as the first, you know, thing. Even if, you know, the other one, the one I'm just thinking about that because I'm, you know, I'm looking at that. This one has been done with, you know, with my basket. You know, everything, instead of throwing that away, you know, I put them in the artwork. So in this sense, probably it's
with your
considered.
trash?
Yeah, it's called the re-art. So it's something which is linked to the recycling part of the production. So it has been done a few years ago just to to underline the possibility of doing something with your waste instead of throwing them away. But as I told you, it was a project, just, a specific project. In general, when you're producing artwork, you're doing everything without thinking about the green part.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, there were
so sorry for that.
Sorry?
So sorry for that.
No. No, actually, in contemporary art, I think a lot of political artists are now approaching the matter with installation art and performance art, and they are talking about sustainability and saving the world. And yeah, there are some works in that way, but in your practice, of course, it's, yeah.
Yeah, if you'd like to underline, the sustainability of the project, yes, of course, you're going to produce something in this sense. So it's correct, it's right. I had even some customers who are asking something like that for specific projects, and over there you can underline. But in general, contemporary art is not green.
Yeah, yeah.
It's red. It's red.
Yeah, and today's architecture, sustainability is a very important matter. So I think it was also a nice question.
Yeah, this is for the artistic building is another thing. Huh? For artistic building, it's totally different. Okay, and even monumental sculpture. But for normal conventional artwork, conventional contemporary artwork, not really so much.
Not really so much. Yeah. So there's also one more question. It's like, how can the environment of the space affecting by art? How can the environment of space affecting by art?
If you are doing a piece of art on commission, okay, it's the best thing is asking for the commitment, which is the place where the artwork is going to, to set, to put. So in this sense, you can even try to do something, you can not modify your inspiration, but as artists, you can adapt, the final result to the request. And in general, you have to do always this, this thing when you are designing monumental sculpture. When you're doing that, especially for public places, of course, if you have something ready, you're going to put that over there. But in general, right now, especially, if there is an architect who has his master plan or her master plan, the best thing is, to create something which specifically fit on that project.
Yeah. Do you produce site-specific sculptures?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Is it something you consider while you are creating your
Yes, of course.
art?
Yes, of course. It's something which is absolutely normal for a sculptor who is doing a monumental sculpture. It's something absolutely normal.
So another question, if it's okay for you too.
Yeah, no problem. I'm here.
Could an architect and artist collaboration or professional relationship be effective on the artistic value of a project?
No, not really. If the artist continues to do art, and if architect continues to do, architecture project, it doesn't affect. I mean, if the question is if this kind of collaboration affects on the final price of the artworks, this is another question. It's different. Because when the artist is going to cooperate with the architect to produce something astonishing, the artist is not working for the artistic, business value of the artwork. He's designing something with the architect just to produce something which remains over there forever. So the artistic value in this sense is the timing, the forecast of living over there something which is forever. But can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, I can see you, but I cannot see me. Anyway, no problem.
Oh, why?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. But you are looking nice and good, so we are all okay, I guess.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So we are still receiving questions. If it's
Mm-hmm.
okay, I wanna read a couple more,
Yeah, yes, of course.
if you are not tired.
No problem.
Okay, great.
I'm almost
Uh,
hungry.
you're almost hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm
okay.
joking. Let's go. Let's go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okie dokie. There is a question. What about Mr. Catania's most favorite um, city?
City.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I love, New York. I love, the south part of France.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, I love cities where, people they have been able to express themselves, especially with architecture. Think about Rome. It's unique,
Yeah, it's very historically unique,
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
the food.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially the food. Think about Venice.
Yeah,
Think about Venice. It's,
that's
mm,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah.
And also we have another question.
Mhm.
Any example of how art is projected in your civil engineering?
Any example of?
Of how art is projected in your civil engineering?
Yeah, probably think that they want to know in which way art and civil engineer, is mixing together, probably something like that. I don't know. Uh,
Maybe sculpt.
yeah,
I
in the
think
mono.
maybe we mentioned this.
Pardon?
I think we talked about this briefly about
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said
yes, of course.
while doing sculpture,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said
exactly.
that, yeah,
Mm-mm.
engineering comes to mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And also another question is, what's the
Hmm.
most challenging situation for this field that you have ever been? All the fields you are in, I guess. All the fields you are operating because you're operating in lots of different fields, but
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, as I told you, there is not so much different, between
Mm-hmm.
the different fields. So the construction field, the buildings, artistic fields, according to me, but even for the future, even for architects in general, uh, they're becoming just one path.
And what is the most challenging thing you've ever came across?
You're gonna see that in the next month, in the next few months.
Oh, okay. Is it your online exhibition?
No, 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 something else, something else.
Wow, okay. So we have to stay tuned to see what will
Exactly,
happen.
exactly, exactly.
That's great. And people are asking where you are. You are in Milan, in
Yeah, right
Italy,
now,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, yes.
Um, yeah, I think we, which country are you from? Okay, no. Um, okay, I think we are all done here. If
Perfect.
it's okay
Thank,
for you too.
yes, of
I really
course.
want to thank you for being our guest for today's discussion. It was
Thank
very
you too.
lovely to host you,
Thank you. Thank you so
and
much. For me, it's the same.
hope to
Thank you so
see you
much.
again in the
For
future.
sure, for sure.
And one more question: where can we watch your online exhibition? From which platform?
On my proper website, on my
On your
official
proper
website.
website.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It will be ready
And
very soon.
also before leaving,
Yeah.
one of our audience asks, "What is the menu for your dinner tonight?"
I don't know. I don't know yet. I
You
don't know
don't know?
yet.
Okay. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you to you. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.
Ciao.